Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Rinpoche, we hear you well.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Mhm. Okay, welcome back. So, we can start with the prayers like uh, Guru Yoga, uh, Refuge, and Bodhicitta. And then we will do a nine purification breathings. Mm. Do you have the text? Yeah, thank you. So mm, refuge. Kendenzewe lama namlanjabzonje tomdenganje endam lalanjabzonje Nende sawe kando mala kyabzo lama yendam kando zomla gyabzo bodhicitta. prayer. Sanwa Sanjin Sanjon Dandonya Sanjo Yeje Toye Nombola Dangelenjo Dogendemba Getaye Zemjen Tönce Semgendo. Okay, 9 purification breathings. Okay. 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 So welcome back. Which I'm going to give uh, today and tomorrow. Looks like my net is not stable. Okay, I hope it will remain stable. So as I yesterday, and I told you that I will try to speak from the different order of the teaching. Probably it will make more easier to understand those who are new to this teaching. Okay. The first thing, as I said yesterday, as I told you that there are teachings of bardó, that is according to sutra teaching and tantra teaching and dzogchen teaching, and I will focus more on the concept of bardó that is based on dzogchen teaching, and specifically that is taught in the oral transmission of Shangshung, the Shangshung Nyenju Dzogchen teaching, okay? And specifically that comes in the six lamps, Domatu. Six lamp is a part of teaching in oral transmission of Shangshung Nyenju's teaching. So in that, one of the six lamps, or one of the lamp, is a teaching about Parto. So it is based on that. The teaching will be based on that. So the purpose of the Parto is to introduce, to let us know there are three major opportunity to attain realization or achieve enlightenment after death. Okay, there are three major enlightenment after death. So they are called three bardós, three main spots of bardó. The first one is called Nebashi bardó. Nebashi bardó, the bardó that is more like a base, the bardó of base. The bardó of base, where you confront or you see the real natural state of mind, or you will be confront the negative state of mind. Okay, so that is the first and the uttermost, the highest, the deepest opportunity where you can be achieve or achieve realization in a second, in a moment. Okay, so we will go very deep and precise about this later, but this happens immediately after so-called death. Okay, so why I'm saying that so-called death? Because as I told you yesterday, there are 3 different kinds of death. Or you will say it is more about losing the breath. We say losing the breath. So breath means the first breath is a gross breath, which we breathe this, wind, air, oxygen, okay? And that is the gross one. And second one is the pranas, which is in our body. That is more subtle. When we lose this breath, that is called outer death. When we lose the when the pranas deactivate, stop functioning, that is called inner death. And when the mind, consciousness leave the body, that is called cigarette death. That is the final death. So we have outer death, inner death, and cigarette death. So we will go more detail on this. You see, this is a gross breath. Prana is more like a subtle breath. And then mind is somehow, how to say, travel or activate with a tiny subtle wind. So we will again talk more detail about this later. And that wind, how to say, eject or come out of body, and that is also the final death, or how you call cutting the final breath. Okay, so that is why I called the second one as a so-called death. So the first opportunity comes when we lose the connection between our mind and outer appearances, and when the mind slowly shut down everything which is connected with outer appearances. So there are steps. Again, later I will talk more detail. First, how to say, how appearances disconnect, and then how element dissolve, and then how the organs dysfunction, and then slowly, even these 5, how to say, 5 or 3 poisons: desire, attachment, ignorance, somehow dissolve in a one moment. Okay, and in that moment of dissolving everything, and then in a very certain specific short period, one will confront or experience the natural state of mind. And it happens with everyone without how to say discrimination, or without whether he or she is a practitioner, or he or she is aware of it, or doesn't matter. This happens with every person who dies. But the question is if she is aware of it, or he or she is able to be in that state. And that state is the state, that moment is the moment where, when the yogis, masters, practitioners who are able to sustain their meditative state while they are dying, and they will able to be enter into the state of Thukdam. Have you seen the Thukdam? Those people who are able to sit in a meditative posture and then maintain their body posture still like this for 3 days and more. That is Thukdam. And they experience, they are aware of, they realize what is happening with their body, pranas, and mind. And then they started to being in the natural state of mind. And when all these three kleshas, or three defilements, three poisons started to dissolve in that moment, and then they are able to being in that state. And then immediately after, there are longer procedure, we will go more detail, very detail on this later, okay? And then they are able to remain this. And then for an ordinary people, when this happen, they go into state something like when person get get unconsciousness. So for a ordinary people, it's going into unconsciousness, and this unconsciousness can remain at least 3 days. Okay, but for the yogis who are able to maintain or sustain that attitude, or that state, or that meditation, they are able to being in that state, which is called Thukdam. Okay, so we can also talk more detail about the Thukdam. And after 3 days, and then this Thukdam state, or this unconsciousness state, break. Okay, and when it breaks, and the obvious sign of those who remain in Thukdam is that most of the time their head bent. Okay, there's no control of that. Okay, and you can see that even outer breath has already gone. Somehow there are pranas still activating, which we practice in the Tsalung, like 5 pranas, 5 lungs, upward going, downward going, all this fire-like, how to say, Gengyu, Tursil, Menyam, Kyabje, Sokjin, life force, all these are somehow activating still. And when these pranas disactivate, and then everything changes. Control of the body goes, and then decaying started to smell. Okay, all this happened, and then consciousness leave the body. Leave the body. Now that moment, when everything dissolve and you enter into, or you confront, or you started to see the negative natural state of mind, that is the biggest opportunity, and that is the one of the main purpose to give a bardó teaching, because that opportunity, that moment is the most important moment where one can achieve realization. So that is very important. So that is like you are practicing Shine in Dzogchen. You are practicing Tekche in Dzogchen. You are practicing being in the natural state of mind in Dzogchen. And that meditation became very helpful in that moment. And that moment is very important. Then if somebody couldn't achieve realization in that moment, and then there's a second opportunity. Okay, so since this opportunity is called a bardó of base, she bardó, never she bardó in Tibetan, bardó of base, that is base, okay, or which is, you can say it a bardó of emptiness. You can say it, the word is not used clearly in Tibetan, but you can say the bardó of emptiness. And if somebody couldn't achieve a realization in that moment, and then second opportunity occurs or comes when the consciousness leave the body. When the consciousness leave the body, that is a moment for ordinary people who gain kind of consciousness from the unconsciousness. As I said, for the ordinary people, it is like a state of unconsciousness for 3 days, at least 3 days. It can be longer. The shortest period is 3 days. And when he or she or her mind or his mind gain consciousness, and then kind of everything start again. When there's emptiness, and then all things start again, whether it is a memory, whether it is appearances, everything should start again. Like when you went into, when you went or go into unconsciousness, when you come back, you have to start everything. And that starting point is very important. If you are aware of that procedure, that steps, then you will start to understand what is clarity. If you have learned and practiced the meditation of Tögel, if you have practiced and meditation of Hakdong, and that practice and meditation will be, how to say, useful, benefit, or because it starts from the emptiness. As I said, you confront the emptiness, the real state of the mind, naked state of the mind. And then when it comes, everything start from there, it starts with emptiness. And then first thing you hear is the sound of emptiness. Sound of emptiness, the light of clarity, and the rays of union of the emptiness and clarity. The sound, light, and rays, these will become a seed of all what you see, what you hear, what you feel in that journey. When you are aware of Dzogchen meditations like Hakdong, Tögel, from 6 lamps or whatever, sky gazing, whatever, and then you will understand whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you feel, it's just coming from, it is just a manifestation of your mind. When you started to, how to say, became aware of this, and then you will have an opportunity to achieve realization here. And this moment is called a bardó of clarity. Okay, so you have another opportunity. So for those who are not aware of this, and then it became the illusion. You hear the sound, but you don't know this is just sound of emptiness in you. You see the lights, but you are not aware of that this light is just a light of clarity. And then this light, this rays, this sound goes more further and further and further, and then it causes more illusion, more distraction, more confusion, and that becomes a kind of a luring, being stuck in the bardó journey. So that is the second bardó, second moment, second opportunity. So bardó of base and bardó of emptiness. Now, just think, in Dzogchen, we talk about the natural state of mind, which is emptiness. And when this mind is aware of its own emptiness, it is called a rikpa, which becomes clarity, which becomes wisdom. From this clarity, and then when you see the others, outside phenomena, and then there's manifestations, visions, which is the manifestations of the mind. That comes in Dzogchen practice. That is how mind works. The same way the bardó works here. You have opportunity called a bardó of base, and then when the consciousness leaves the body, and you have opportunity to call it a bardó of clarity. Nepashi bardó, Ösalgi bardó is a bardó of clarity. And then third opportunity, which is the last opportunity, and which those who couldn't achieve a realization in these two big opportunity, and then they have a final opportunity that is called paro sibi bardó. Paro is more like the other, or more dear, over there. Okay, sipa is existence. Bardó is, okay, intermediate state. Paro sibi bardó, bardó of existence. It means like in that moment, and then you started to see, you started to become aware of you are in the bardó, and then you started to see the hopes, the way how to be in a new life. How to enter into a womb of your future mother, Okay, that is a third opportunity. That is a third opportunity because it gives you more hopes to be born in a upper realms. We have a lower realms, which has a more suffering, upper realms, which has a less sufferings. Less sufferings. Okay. So, but somehow many of them get kind of ability to be born there. It means like with a karmic connection, you're able to choose your parent. Otherwise, many of these beings are stuck in the bardó. You can say forever even. The shortest period of bardó journey is 49 days, 7 weeks, and the longest forever. Okay. So imagine. So that's why the third opportunity gives you to be born in upper realms. That is very important. So we will go more detail on this, especially on this practice connected with the first opportunity and second opportunity, and also more detail how to enter into a first opportunity. That is, we will go detail. But before that, I will start, as I said yesterday, I will start into how we came into existence. Now, mind is kind of a emptiness, which is connected with a tiny wind through it, through which it can move or travel. Okay, so and during the second phase of the journey of the bardó, and then to see, or they also use this term as a, the karmic traces started to pop up or react. Okay, or you can divide it into three periods. First period of the first phase of the bardó journey, second phase of the bardó journey, and third phase of the bardó journey. In the first phase of the bardó journey, you will have illusion mostly, or you have feeling experience mostly based or according to the past, which means like how you where you were alive before in the previous life. So you will see your, even if you don't have a body, but you will started to have feel like a body as you have before you died, and all this feeling. And then in the second phase of the bardó, you started to see the present, that you are wandering. You don't have a body, physical body. You just have a mental body. That is your kind of concept. And you started to realize that if you call someone, nobody is reacting. If you ask for help, none of your family is reacting. And then you see there is a kind of a gap. There's a border, invisible border, boundary between you and the others. And the teaching says that only the bardó beings can see bardó beings, unless if some realized master or yidam and ordinary people cannot see. But if very ordinary people, if he or she sees or feel, then it means obstacle for her or him. It is only something bad things happens when. It's only when this bardó beings started to harm these people. Okay, there are 3 levels. Okay, first, only the high level realized master can see them, the bardó beings. And the second thing, their group, their internal group, the bardó beings can see each other. And the third, unfortunately, if someone, the ordinary people, wishes, especially whose luck is down that day, whose power, charm is very low, and then they will sometime feel or see something, and then that moment would be a disaster for him or her. So that is the moment. And that is why they started to see the present, that middle phase of the bardó journey. They started to see themselves that they are not alive anymore. They are not alive anymore. And then once they started to realize this, and then they will start to see the way out of it. They started to see the hopes, and that will enter into a third phase of the bardó journey. Third phase. The third phase is how to escape from that state, that journey, how to get new life. So we will start from here. Okay. Okay. So normally in a Tibetan we say pakjak se. Pakjak se. Se is a term when something is awakened. So when the karmic traces awaken, which is stored there, when it started to activate, and then because of their action, karmic action, and the result, and then reaction, it gives the reaction. The reaction will let you to head, to pursue towards those are more suitable to you, those are more connected with you. So that consciousness which is in the bardó journey started to feel, started to experience, and started to go everyone which seems like connected. Okay, that is how they look for their future parents. That's the concept. Okay, so and there are more detail about this in Sutra, Tantra, even in Dzogchen. I think most detail you will find in the Sutra text actually about this, quite detail. But anyhow, even the medical text, Tibetan medical text has mentioned this very elaborately about this, okay, how they travel. Okay. Anyway, first thing is they confront, they seek for the further. It's always the consciousness confront first with the father. So before that, as I said, I will talk about, this is the same procedure, same order, how the world is formed according to this teaching. Okay, so in a Dzogchen teaching, usually they talk like, in the beginning, it's everything is empty, space. And in this space, in this empty space, they use the term, the term is like with the how to say, grace and compassion of the enlightened beings, and with the karmas of the sentient beings, somehow a karmic wind started to move. Okay, so first there's a space, always space. Okay, space. In that space, and wind started to move. Okay, one thing, in some of these Burn ritual text, it talks something like a Big Bang. Same theory. Okay, I don't know when this concept so-called the Big Bang came, but in the Burn, old Tibetan Burn ritual text, there are something called this. It says very big sound came, and it is mentioned. Okay, so, and from this sound everything start. But sometimes they says this is a kind of a sound from the Sibatigil Kupa, is a kind of a deity. So, but anyway, it started from this. But in Dzogchen teaching, there's the emptiness, space. In the space, the karmic wind move, and when the wind started to move stronger and stronger and stronger, and then it produced a fire. So space, wind, and then fire. When this fire became bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it produced vapor. When the vapor became a more and more larger and larger, and it became water, sea, ocean. And then when this ocean started to move, and all these solid things came on the top, and it became earth. Okay, so that is why earth, water, and fire, volcano, and everything's held by wind in the space. That is how it is believed. In science, you says everything is a reaction of chemical. Human being is a reaction of chemical. And Dzogchen says everything is a reaction of 5 elements. Everything is made from 5 elements. To Z, there's 5 elements. Okay, I will tell you how Dzogchen described these 5 elements. Okay, so you can see earth, water, fire, and wind, and space. This is the order of how everything origin. So now human, okay, the mind, which is in the form of space, which is like a sky, that enter into, or that meet the wind, which is a breath of father, like it enter into the body of the father through breathing through the nostril or mouth. It enter into father's body. When it enter into father's body, space meet wind, and this reaction creates a heat, a fire in the father's body. That is how you call it, sexual, how to say, kind of feeling, okay, sexual feeling, and that makes father's body warm, fire. So space meet wind, wind meet fire, and this fire, this combination, space, wind, fire, this combination create water. That water is fluid, semen that comes from father. Now, same as I made a description of the origin of the world, origin of this earth, is the same like human, okay? And the same procedure is used in a tumu practice, okay? You have to know this, okay? Same procedure, okay? You have to know is used in a tumu and many other practice. If you know this, you will be able to understand so many things, okay? Now, space, wind, fire, and water, and this combination enter into mother's womb, and there you meet earth, which is can be an egg, which can be, normally the Dzogchen teaching says a blood, okay, blood, because the seeds, white seed from a father, in a gross way, it's a semen. In a subtle way, it is called a white male bodhisattva seed, okay? In a gross way, it's a mother's blood or egg. In a subtle way, it is a red female bodhisattva seed. Now, this comes together and then formed something in mother's womb. Now, it's the same procedure, okay? Now, remember this, as I talk in this way, it is very important that you will learn in bardó, while you die, it is opposite. It dissolves in the opposite way, opposite order. And this is very important to understand, okay? Now, while all this composition of earth, okay, human earth in mother's womb, and that of how to say, that is a composition of a, you can say, a mind, breath, heat, warmth, blood, and flesh together. In other language, we can say internal 5 elements. External 5 elements, those are the fire outside like this. Internal 5 elements means heat of the body, blood of the body, breath of the body, okay, mind of the body, and flesh and bone of the body. That is internal 5 elements. So seeds are there, and then 2 things form in mother womb. Started from 2 things. First, we call it Nangsipa, internal existence or internal vote, and then external vote. Internal vote, how to say it? Internal vote started from the heart. The first thing, origin or form in mother womb is heart. That is the base of internal world. Outer world started from navel. How we call navel cord? Yeah, navel cord. That connects you with the outer world, with the mother. So these 2 things are very important. One is more in, one is more out. Okay? So these 2 things form. Now, after hurt, it's very interesting here. like started to form according to the reaction of the different elements. Okay, like how to say it? Put in that way, like yeah, put in this way. First, with the space or mind, it's a heart is formed. With the breath, slowly, the lungs formed. With the breath or wind, and with the warmth and with the warmth and fire, internal fire, the liver is formed, and with the water, the kidneys are formed. With the earth, serpa, what is the English word? I think spleen is formed. Okay, they are called, these organs are called a the base of the internal elements. The seeds of the internal elements are based in them, and then it reactions goes to the hollow, I think hollow organs, 5 hollow organs. Those are the, we call samsiu. I think it is the organ where how to say samsiu, where the seminal liquids remain. I don't know what is English word for the exact word. And then for the wind, it is more about gulong, like a kind of intestine. And for the fire, it's a bile. And for water, it's a bladder. For the earth, like a stomach. And these things are formed next. And then slowly, the organs which is up there, okay? First forming in, and then how it works, and then up, like eyes, nose, tongue, ear, and then body's filling. So these 5 are called door, okay? Door of the internal 5 elements. Like if you know the practice of 6 lamps, you can see that how the mind, the door of the mind is on the eye. And the door of the lung is on the nose, and door of the liver is on the tongue. Then if you know this all, you will understand how the Tibetan medical how to say concept work. And like the door of the kidney is in the on the ear, and the door of the how to say spleen is all over the world. So these things connected, and then like they are precise how does the definition of all these in the Shangjung Nyingyu teaching. And then after that 5 limbs, and right now I'm going very brief, okay, how it forms. But there is a teaching in the Shangjung very detailed, not only with this how they are formed, also with the which kind of pranas, which kind of channels, nerves are formed that time. Okay, this is how we are formed. Is it clear? I hope. So if you learn this, how this formation, and then there are more detail, as I said, how the channels work, how the nerves work, how the limbs work, how other part of the body. You can see everything is five limbs, five organs, five senses, five fingers, and five. Sometimes some has 6 or 7, but 5 is the main, and this is called the reaction of the 5 elements. In science, you say reaction of chemical, but in Dzogchen, it's a reaction of 5 elements. Okay, so if you understand this, it helps medicine, it helps practice meditation, it helps also in the massage, kunye, because you know the points, you know, if you have a problem with kidney, and you know where to press. If you know you have a problem with the spleen, and you know where to press, if you know all this, because it talks about connection everywhere in this teaching. Okay, this is the first thing. I would like, I wanted to how to say, I wanted to talk in the beginning, and then now there's a growth, there's a mind, and then in between there's a subtle energies, and that's also in the 5. Okay, whether it is a chakras, whether it is a channels, whether it is a pranas, all are in 5. Okay, we can talk more detail later. Now, as I said, this is very important in bardó teaching. As I said, we are just composition or reaction of 5 elements. Besides that, if you put more dense or more brief, and we are a composition of 3 things. We all are composition of 3 things, and number 3 is very important also, you know. 3 kayas, 3 something, 3 door, 3 many 3s, but we are composition of 3 things. Our mind, essence from father, essence from mother. We are a composition of these 3. Okay, a eggs from mother, or a blood from mother, and fluid or semen from father, and mind, which is us. So we are a composition of this. This is a gross, and then there's a subtle form, and there's a pure form. With this, when these 3 combine together, and energetic link, energetic wire, I don't know, that is called channel. So that's what we do. Okay, wide channel, which is which comes from the subtle form of the male, red channel, which comes from a subtle form of the female. Semen is white, blood is red, and then blue channel in the center, which is blue, which is mind, which is the space, is blue. These are the reason why we visualize a pure form, a subtle form, a celestial form as a pure. In a gross, we have blood, we have flesh, and we have this ignorant mind. Okay, in a subtle, we have these 3. Okay, And also this says like, this is important, we will talk later more detail. The ignorance is with our own mind. The anger comes along with a father's essence, and desires comes along with mother's essence, and that is the three poisons. Okay. Now we have all pure form, impure form, gross form, subtle form, everything is here. And as a Dzogchen practitioner, what we do is we have to become aware of what is the reality. Okay. So that's how we are formed. Okay. So this is just giving example us as a human. Otherwise, there are like different forms of coming into existence according to different beings, like those who come into existence through the eggs, those who come into the existence in the form of zutu, zu. I don't know what is the English word. Those kind of who pop up like a miracle, like bacteria, like with the heat, it's something come out like this. We are the one who came from the womb, ngalge, gongge, and zuke, and then toge. So with the heat or warm or moisture, there's beings can be come to existence. Being can become into existence through the kind of miracle. I don't know, miracle, kind of miracle. Zu, there's a Tibetan zuge. I don't know. Manifestation is like more like this. So that is one. And then, yeah, with eggs. Those are the other concept. And generally, if we talk about human, so this is the procedure, okay? This is the one. And now, another important thing is that now since I gave this definition of this procedure, it became more easier for me when I talk about the procedure of dying, the procedure of dissolvement of the elements while someone die in a natural way. Okay, so it will be easier. It will be you will understand easier. Okay. Is there any question? We have 2 minutes or 1 minute.
We have 1 minute left. Yes,
okay.
There was one question in the chat. Not.
If I started something, okay, let somebody to ask. If I started.
That there was one in the chat. Shall
okay.
I?
Yeah, please read.
There was a question that Rinpoche, today in Ukraine, civilians are bombed and shot, die on the spot or soon after, and they are not buried for weeks. Is an exploded mind body is capable of getting to higher realms, even if it dies in great fear and pain?
Oh, those who die in a tragic, usually there could be two things. When somebody has decided themselves that, or there's affirmative in themselves that they are dying, then the journey goes smoothly, the journey of the bardó. But if it is like immediate, how to say, accident, and then for them it takes a time to realize that they actually died. So these are the two things. Is it something what he or she is asking?
I don't know, maybe she can E. I don't know her name. I just seen her his name E and this question. So she will let us know, or he will let us know it. So
Okay. So so now I think now time is going, isn't it?
yes, now we are about to have a break. Yes.
Okay, okay. So we will have break, and during the next session, then I will talk about the I will start from the procedure of dying, and then we can go continuously. And see you.
Okay, 30 minutes break. So we
Okay,
will be
30
back.
minutes. Yeah.
4:45 European time.
Thank you.